Good afternoon. Welcome to the Autumn Acorn Knits. This is Judy. Today is October, I'm going to say the 9th, but I could be wrong. And this is episode 34. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, yarn dyeing, and now you can add spinning to that list. Sometimes embroidery and hand sewing. So basically it's a crafty channel where I talk about the things I'm making, the yarns I'm dyeing, and all the things happening around our log cabin. I live here with my husband Joe and our black cat Meryl. I have 3 grown kids and 1 grandbaby named Charlie Adelaide. And guess what? My daughter's expecting another one. Some of you that follow me on Instagram know this. She will be having a baby girl, another baby girl, in April around the time of my birthday. So she will have a planned delivery, C-section, based on what happened last time. So we're hoping she's trying to get my birthday, which is April 3rd, so we'll see. Anyway, I've been talking about names. She's having a really tough pregnancy, a lot tougher than with Charlie. She is sick like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She doesn't really get a break from the nausea, and that is causing depression. So the doctors tried some meds. The nausea meds just aren't working. Nothing's really working. So she has to continue working full-time as a nurse, going to school at night, and taking care of Charlie, and doing it all while she feels like crap. So she's about 4 months along, I want to say. So she hopefully will be feeling better soon, although there's no guarantee. So anyway, that's really exciting. We're super happy about that news. Yeah, so let's get into some finished projects. I want to start with a pattern by Melody Hoffman, Bee Mandarins, and this is called Little Twigs, the Little Twigs pullover sweater. And I'll start by showing you it's got a really, really pretty yoke. Yeah, it was a wonderful pattern. I didn't love doing the twig part, but it's not the pattern's fault. It's just, I just was excited to have that over with. But I loved the way that you started with the sleeves. I thought that was really interesting. And then it was a bottom-up sweater, which again, not typical for me for a yoked sweater. And the sleeves, I did not enjoy the part about assembling the sleeves, because you had to graft the underarm stitches. Not my thing. I can think of a lot of easier ways to do it, so to do the pattern. So if I were to do it again, I would probably just do it my way, but overall, I'm really happy with the way this fits. Really happy with the way this fits. So I would recommend this sweater, maybe just doing it a little bit different and not the grafting part. But I learned a new skill, so that's always good. And I really enjoyed working with this yarn. And yeah, overall I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this sweater. I've already worn it a couple of times, so that's a good sign. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys could smell. This is, I'm going to tell you about the smell after both of these items, these finished items. So the next one is my No Place Like Home pullover. Do you see my mug? Isn't that gorgeous? This is from Sue. Sue, thank you so much. I love this mug. Sue brought this for me when I did Squam in September, did the Squam art fair. She came to buy some things and surprised me with this beautiful mug, which is by a company called Mud and Yarn on Instagram, and they're handcrafted. And this thing, I tried to get one, but they go out of stock so quickly, and she was able to get it, so I love it. It's really a good size. So anyway, this next one is called No Place Like Home, and this so far has only been written up for a child size about 2 to 3, but I have it with a tech editor now. She's going to do the grading. Fingers crossed that'll all go well. She's already started on the spreadsheets, so if it goes well, this little pullover will be available for all baby children and adult sizes, so fingers crossed. Yeah, but here it is. This is my second sample, and this one was done with 2 different colors of yarn for the trim on the little cuffs and the waist and the neck. Here's the back. You might remember the first version, which was made, I used turmeric dyed yarn, and this time I used the wildflower and hibiscus tea. If you remember the sample I made in the golden yellow color, the keyhole opening in the back was bigger. It was probably twice the size. It came down to about here, and I didn't do the trim around it either. I crocheted a little bit of trim around that. Everything else was about the same, but I decided I wanted that keyhole opening smaller, and I also made the band at the bottom much looser. I cast off using Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off, because the first version, it just was a little too tight on Charlie. Charlie still loves it and wears it, and in fact her mom took her out to the park the other day and they did a little photo shoot, so that was really sweet. I'll insert some pictures here so you can see Charlie and her in the first version of No Place Like Home. In fact, that's where it got its name, because it's in that sunflower kind of color. But I made this bigger, so I made it bigger all around because the other one just fits Charlie, just fits her. And this is much more true size 3, I would say. And I'm just thrilled with it. I love everything about it. I cannot wait to have one for myself. This was done in sport weight yarn, so for me that's the perfect weight to knit a sweater in, that or DK, but I really like the flow of a sweater knit in sport weight yarn. I haven't decided yet what color or colors, if I do a contrasting trim. I'm not sure what color to make for myself, but we'll see. So stay tuned for this pattern to be released. I am shooting for early November, so let's see what happens. I'm gonna have some more coffee, keeping it warm in my clean canteen. I have a visitor. Hi, Meryl. Meryl, do you want to come and say hi? Where are you? Are you just looking for a... Oh, I see. Yes, you're in a bag. All right, well, that's okay, too. You can say hi in a bag. Oh, here she is. Yep. Little cutie pie who loves all bags. She can't help herself, but hi, sweet girl. How you doing? Are you enjoying this nice weather? We have had some really cold weather, like nights in the 20s, but today it feels really good outside. I mean, it's still brisk. That's why I'm wearing a shawl and a hat. Well, the hat's partly because hairdo problems. But anyway, I've been busy. I've been really busy knitting. I have 2 more finished objects. So, well, that's not really fair. One of them was already finished. Another one is newly finished. So this sweater here is the same sweater as one that you've already seen. This is the nameless sweater so far, although I've gotten some really awesome suggestions from you guys, and I just have to decide which one to go with. But this is the back, and this is reversible. I just tend to like to wear the pattern section in the front, but it doesn't matter. Someone on Instagram had said the name, what did she called it? Something to do with hiking sweater, because it would be so easy and light to throw into your bag. Wouldn't matter when it's chilly if you put it on, you know, frontwards or backwards. And it would be cropped enough so that if you were wearing a waist pack, you could still reach that. She just thought it would be the perfect hiking sweater. So that is definitely a name I'm considering. But if you remember, this is the one that has sections of mohair and then sections without mohair. And it reverses on the back. So you've got mohair on the bottom and not the top. This is, I have 2 neckline versions offered. This is the boat neck, which I prefer. And then the other version that I knit is, this is not a boat neck. This is a much more closed-in neck line. And I used, this yarn was completely dyed up using madder root. So you have a lot of variation. So I had so much fun because I had, I want to say 3 skeins, and I knew I had to mix it up, but yet match it on the other side. Let me take this off for you. And it was so much fun to just go with it, whereas before I would have been a little like, this is going to look weird, I don't know. I don't think I can use this yarn for a sweater. I absolutely could use this yarn for a sweater. Here's the back. You see the color change when I add on at the bottom the mohair. It lightens it, and then in the front does that same thing to the top, but not the bottom. This version, I made the sleeves too big. I won't be doing that. That's not in the pattern. That was just a mistake I made. I wasn't thinking. So this one has super loose sleeves, whereas the blue version, they are more fitted. So yeah, but I will be offering both neckline versions, you know, because I know not everybody likes the boat neck or the scoop neck, whatever you call it. I think it's called the boat neck. Some people like a neckline that is a little more up close around their shoulders. So that was so much fun. I do not have this tested yet, so I know a couple of you were interested. I wasn't really, when I made the announcement last time, I really wasn't ready. I thought I was, but I had too much going on. I'm ready now. I would like to get this tested up and then sized and graded. Yeah, I think this is probably a size, I can't decide if it's a small or a medium. I don't know. I think as long as you're somewhere in between a small and a medium, this will be fine, on, you know, on the lower end of a medium. Just let me know. It takes 2 skeins of Cascade Eco and 1 skein of mohair, And Cascade Eco, I would call it a worsted or heavy worsted. This yarn is a worsted. This is a merino, so it has a lot of drape. I actually really prefer this Cascade Eco in this particular sweater because it does keep it really light. And I just think it's going to be a really hardy, long-wearing wool. So highly recommend that. That comes in tons of colors. If you happen to have some in your stash, or if you're willing to pick up a couple skeins, I think you'll be so happy. You'll have a pretty inexpensive sweater. Aside from the mohair, but I have mohair in my shop that's not outrageous, and you get, you know, 459 yards. So, because you will need that much. Let me know. Let's move on to works in progress. Don't mind, yeah, the hat. I'm sorry. Sorry about the hat. So I started this project while I was down in Connecticut. Joe and I went down to Connecticut 5 days to keep an eye on little Gooey, little Charlie, and help out her mom and dad because their babysitter was away. She had an emergency, so we picked up and headed down. And so I started this on the car ride, I think it was, or shortly before. Obviously, it's fall, and I'm a little bit obsessed with madder root lately. This was some yarn that I had dyed up when I first started dyeing, and nobody bought it. So when that happens, and I don't know why, I think it's really pretty. All those variegations of dark and light. Oh, I love it. That's the right side. Yeah, that's the right side. Got my progress keeper here. And this is a triangular asymmetrical shawl, and this is a design that I am making myself. So it's very stretchy. I think it's going to look really great blocked, and I think it's just going to be a very warm and cozy fall shawl. And I'm using, I want to say this is DK weight. Not sure. Yeah, it looks like a DK to me. I have all of my balls or cakes or whatever that I'm kind of switching back and forth so that I get a nice, you know, a variegated look and not any striping. So, yeah. It's a very easy, I needed something easy. When we take trips, Joe loves to talk, so it's hard. I can't take anything that I have to concentrate on. I have to do all my concentrating, knitting, like lace and things like that, when I'm alone, because, yeah, it's impossible. He's a chatty one. And then, goodness, the same day that I received this beautiful gift from Sue, in the mail, I received another beautiful gift from my friend Amelia. Amelia, I've thanked you for this beautiful bag, but I cannot tell you how much I love it. Look at this. Have I shown you this before? I don't know. I don't think so. It's just the sweetest little bag with squirrels and acorns, and love the color. I mean, green is one of my two favorite colors. Can you? I don't even know if you can see how the actual shade of green that it is, but I love it so much. It is a beautiful bag. And if you are interested in any of Amelia's bags, she has an Etsy shop, and I will put her little tag here so you could see that. I believe you would pronounce it Mila's, hold on, Mila's Sweet Makes. So yeah, she has some really nice bags in her shop. I think you'll enjoy them, so have a look-see. Amelia might be coming to see me. She's going to try really hard to come and see me at my trunk show on Saturday in Boston because she lives in Massachusetts. So I hope you can make it. I can't wait to hug you. And in this, the whole point was I have a project in here for Joe. So let me try to pull it out without ripping it off of the needles. This is another project that I made up, just my own design, and I'm not so sure how it's going to turn out. I know Joe will like it no matter what, but it's not, sometimes patterns or designs don't come out the way that I see them in my head beforehand, and this is one of those cases. Nothing wrong with it, it's just different than I thought. But using some pretty cool yarn in these kind of army green colors, that's what I call them. But you can tell that these two skeins are a little different, so of course I'm doing the whole back and forth thing that you have to do. And so that, you know, switching off your skeins so that you don't end up with really crazy coloring patterns. So here we are. So here it is. You can see what I've got going on here in the center. So there's some garter. Started out with stockinette. Started out with garter. Transitioned into stockinette and back to garter, and it will just keep doing that. And this one is also a asymmetrical, more of a crescent, maybe more of a crescent. I want it to be able to be long enough to wrap around his neck so that he can wrap it around his neck and keep himself cold when he's plowing and doing all the things he has to do to keep us warm this winter. So yeah, I think he's going to really love it. This will be a surprise. I had started it before his birthday, but with all the birthday plans I had to do for his surprise party, there was no way I could finish this as well. So this will be Christmas, but there you can see the asymmetrical part. So this will be a Christmas gift. It's hard to knit gifts for Joe in front of him because he does pay attention to what I'm knitting, and he will ask questions and he'll want to know all about it, which is really sweet, but it means that I have to knit this away from him for the most part. I'm also working on, so I received, I should have brought them, but I'll insert a video here of me opening the package that I received from Sweden. It was about, when was that? Was that just before Squam? I think I even received the package like maybe the day, the morning of or something. Anyway. Hi everyone. I just got a package. Here it is. All the way from Sweden. And I wanted to open it up in front of you. This is the Nutiden pre-yarn that I ordered from Carolyn, who I told you I am a patron of on Patreon. And her and her husband, Knut, bought a mill, and they've been working very hard to produce a beautiful fiber, and I got my hands on some. I'm so excited. I ordered 5 plates, and this yarn, if you know Let Lofi, this yarn is a lot like that, only better because it's very pure. Oh my goodness, and beautiful. It's more beautiful. This is what I'm looking at so far. Look at that color. This color is called Copper and Tin, and I can see why. Oh, it smells good. It does, it smells cheap. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it's so pretty. So let's see. Carolyn sent me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then, because she is so generous, she sent me another smaller plate of this beautiful natural color. I'll have to look up on the website and see what sheep this is from. And then I also, Carolyn is a photographer, and she's been selling off some of her old props. And some of them are these beautiful handcrafted mugs that I had to get. Oh, I love how she uses the fiber for her packing material. And I'm sure she would, if she could, she would avoid tape, but there's really no way when you're shipping. So, because Carolyn and her husband really try hard to do everything the natural way. Oh wow, there's so much in here. I literally could spin this. Well, card it and do all those things first, but how fun is that? Oh, the smell is wonderful. I think I smell Sweden. So here is the very well packaged pottery that I ordered just 2 short weeks ago, and it was shipped the same day. I want to say 2 hours after I shipped it. Oh, and she added some tea. I've never heard of it. It says a bag of our Happy Mondays infusion clipper. And here it is. Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? It says, can't really read the signature that well, but maybe Patterson? So pretty. I love it. Thank you, Carolyn. I love everything. It's so beautiful. By the way, I'm wearing my sweater that I just finished. In fact, it's still damp. So this is Tiny Twigs by Melody Hoffman of Bee Mandarins. And yeah, I'm really happy with it. The fit is great. I love the yoke. And I will tell you all about this and some other things that I'm working on when I podcast. So yeah, I will talk to you soon. Bye. I was so excited. I ordered some of Carolyn and Knut's yarn that they make in their mill from their sheep, other farm sheep, all Sweden-based breeds. And they don't use any chemicals or spin oils, just water. And they just have the most pure, natural, beautiful wool. So when I saw the Copper and Tin colorway, I definitely had to get it. And I took some time to really think about what I wanted to design with this special wool. And I came up with a few ideas, but I definitely knew I wanted it to be, the first project, to be in some sort of a wrap, shawl of some sort. I wanted to wrap myself up in the sheepiness of this wool. It's actually getting a little bit warm with the sun coming in the window here. So I will take, this was the scrappy shawl that I had knit when I first started podcasting. I don't know if you Anybody that's been here a while might remember it. And it's all different types of yarn. And I really just kind of went for it. I had a bunch of extra. This is like a thick and thin, and this is like a worsted. And they go back and forth, you know? And so yeah, the edges aren't perfect, but I don't care. I love this shawl. I always turn to this one. I always keep this one next to my chair up in my craft studio so that, you know, it was fun because I didn't care. I didn't have a real plan, just threw the colors in. And I love that. And like I said to you last time, I'm really getting back into that sort of, that way. I just think that that's, it's a really organic and natural way to create. And it just suits my personality so much better. So that's what I'll do. Anyway, back to this yarn. This yarn, when I say it brought tears to my eyes, I'm not joking. When I started to see the way the colors in this hand-dyed yarn were playing, I'm getting, it makes me emotional, and I know that's weird. I know. I feel, when I touch it, I feel like I am actually petting a sheep. And I've never, ever felt that way about a yarn before. Look at this thing. This is crazy hair. I've never felt that way before. Never has a yarn brought me to tears. I've loved yarns. There have been yarns that I've just touched over and over and smelled, but this yarn brings tears to my eyes. It's a good idea to cast on with 2 strands. Cast on with 2 strands. And then if you do make a mistake, it's not the easiest to unravel. However, I did not knit with this yarn very tight, and I'm having no trouble unraveling it. So it can be done if you're gentle, but you have to be very, very gentle with this unspun fiber. Although, as soon as you knit with it, it starts to felt itself. It's becoming yarn. You know, you can see it. Here is what I have left of this plate. This came in what's called a plate. This color's copper and tin. So gorgeous. You really see some beautiful amber, sort of a rust and a deep orange, and you get the vegetation, which I love. And it just smells so good. But enough of that. So I won't be able to show you the whole thing because I am keeping it secret. This is one of my new designs, and I'm just going to give you a peek-see. This is all you get to see. But do you see that color? Oh, I hope you can. I hope you can make out just how gorgeous the colors are in this yarn. Copper and tin. And the halo, can you see the halo at all? I hope so. It's gorgeous. It forces me to slow down because you can't hurry. You could break your thread, although if you do, it's very easy to put it back together. But it forces me to be very intentional about my stitches. Although this is flying off the needles, really, I am shocked. I did this, just this much, I'd say up to here, yesterday. Joe was away at a doctor's appointment and I did that much, just sitting there for an hour or two. I am so excited about this design, and I think you're going to be too. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. Oh, look at the yellow in this section here. It's so pretty. You will find so many colors in this. So many colors from the sheep. I know there is some black nose sheep. And I believe there's some fine wool, which is another Swedish breed. Did you know fine wool was a breed? Not just a way to describe something, it's an actual breed. Anyway, yeah, I'm excited about this. Carolyn also sent me this mini. And I want to say this is the color Dove, but I'm not 100% sure. There's some more grass. But that is such a beautiful color as well. So I'm probably going to use that for color work. But I'm not sure. I may want to make some mitts. I need some fingerless mitts that fit me. The ones that I have are just too big. They're too loose. You can't. They're not functional. I want to knit 2 sweaters in the future. Near future. The first one was recommended by Amber of a lovely yarn, and it's called Hyla Sweater by September Knits. It's a really beautiful basic cabled pattern, which I think looks so cozy. The one she had on looked really, really cozy on her. This was a paid-for pattern. Takes 1,000 yards of DK for the size I want to make. And I plan to use this as it stands. I plan to use this BFL in this really pretty purple that I dyed. So yeah, I think the BFL will really hold up. It is a superwash, which, have I told you I'm trying to get away from superwash? But I have to use what I have, right? I'm not going to waste what I have, but I just don't want to buy much more of that possible. So I think it's going to look beautiful in this color. Hopefully this color will work though for my skin tone. What do you think? So that's the Hyla sweater. Oh, I should have told you, I said September Knits was the company, but her name is Rachel Reese, the designer, Rachel Reese. Then I was talking to someone lovely from Norway on Instagram. Someone else, someone, calm down there, little guy. Someone who uses Carolyn's yarn, the Nutiden that I just showed you from Sweden, and she knit up a cardigan on I saw it on Instagram, but her version was different than this, but she told me that it was from Petite Knit and it's called Anchor's Cardigan, so I purchased that yesterday. There it is. But I will be doing mine, and I will be using the Nutiden yarn as well, but I'm going to make it cropped with 3/4 sleeves. A, because I like that look, and B, because I have enough yarn for that, so that'll work. So that'll be fun. I'm kind of excited about it. I've never done a petite knit pattern that I can, at least that I can remember. So let's move on to, well, this was an acquisition a while ago that Joe picked up for me. It was actually the day we picked up the spinning wheel. That's when he bought me some spinning fiber, and then I picked out this Rapture wool wrap by Eucalan. And I used it for the first time to wash my little Twigs sweater and my No Place Like Home. And I was floored by how good it smells. Might possibly be the best smelling thing I've ever smelled. And I was so happy and excited about the fact that you don't have to rinse it and that the smell lingers forever. I don't know how long. So far, what, this has been 2 weeks? And I still smell it just like I washed it. It's jasmine, and oh my gosh, if you like The smell of jasmine. I cannot even tell you how amazingly wonderful this is. It's not that expensive. It's like $12 and this thing will last forever. And I really want to start washing my hand-dyed yarns for you guys in it because I think you'd like the way it smells. So I had my spinning lesson. Obadiah, who is the president of the New Hampshire Spinners and Dyers Club, came to my house. She drove 2.5 hours to give me a free lesson, brought me free fiber. She stayed for 2.5 hours and was absolutely fantastic teacher. She was very patient, very encouraging, which really works for me. It was really sweet because, you know, once she taught me all the basics of the wheel and how to care for it and just all of the terminology and how to oil it and things like that, she showed me how to spin, and she, after maybe half an hour or so, when I started to kind of get it, partly get it, she kept saying, "Look at you, you're spinning beautiful yarn. Your yarn is beautiful, look at that, it's beautiful yarn. You're making beautiful yarn." And she had me convinced that I was making beautiful yarn, and it just, my confidence was like, woo, so high at that time. I'm like, I'm making beautiful yarn. Now, I'm not so sure. In my own way, it's beautiful, but I can appreciate that. This is a beginner's, very much a beginner's spin. But she made me feel good. She taught me how to ply, so we had enough on both bobbins to ply. And she said, you know, I normally don't get this far with my students, so you did really well. You picked it up really quickly, and we got to plying. So here is my first skein of 2-ply, very bulky, thick and thin, bright yellow yarn. But I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of my first ropey, you know, lumpy hump. I don't know, it's, look at this, this is, I guess I just forgot to spin right there. But I love it, it's okay. It's a start. I mean, if you could look back at my knitting projects in the beginning, I'm sure they would be pretty funny. But look at that, I love it so much. Then, I didn't get any better. But I applied some Romney, and I think this is Cordale, the yellow. The yellow is what Obadiah brought me to learn, but I had picked up the Romney. Well, Joe bought that for me at a yarn shop. And yeah, so you can see the beginnings, maybe, here. Maybe the beginning of some yarn, but yeah, it leaves a lot to be desired. I mean, so then I've been practicing for at least 15 minutes every day because I don't want to lose any little bit of skill that I've acquired so far. And so then yesterday I sat down for about a half hour and I said, I'm going to try again. I'm going to try another 2-ply, so I spun up a couple of bobbins and I plied them. Plying is so easy, by the way, at least the way that I do it, the way that I was taught. Thought it would be a lot harder. So anyway, this is what I ended up with, and you know what? I'm really happy with it. I've actually purchased yarn. I used to use a lot of art yarn on Etsy, thick and thin art yarn. I would buy it all the time. All the time. I would make newborn photo props with it because it's really soft and squishy. And now, you know what? I can make my own. And again, I know it's not perfect, but boy, I would say I've improved. I definitely feel like I've improved. So now I will work harder. I'm getting more consistent and doing, you know, a finer weight. Although, I mean, this is 2-ply. I know I'm able to spin. This is like what I'd like it to all be right there. And then I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know what I'm doing. I do know. When I get nervous with my hands, instead of stopping my feet speed up, or I don't know. I'm still working on having some composure, but I'm feeling it coming. I'm definitely feeling it coming. When I first started, I was just pedaling so fast, and then my hands couldn't keep up, and then no wonder it's all ropey. And this definitely was not as ropey, so that was an improvement. Yeah, I'm getting there. I love it. It's so fun. It's so relaxing. I just love having something different to use my mind for something that's not just knitting is really nice, and to have another skill and just to meet new people, and it opens up, you know, a whole new world of fiber. So this Saturday when we go to Boston for the trunk show, I hope to see some of you there. We'll be at JP Knit and Stitch at 10 o'clock, and I'm not sure how long I'll stay. Maybe till 2, 3, depends on how it's going, but I do plan to stay for several hours, and I do plan to buy some fiber while I'm there. But I know that I can't buy merino. I'm not really that excited about that anyway. To get merino, I really do want a yarn with a little more grip, a little more bite. So Cordale, Romney, there's maybe Blueface Leicester would be good. Oh, looks like we have a delivery, so sorry if you hear something. In fact, I should probably go close the door. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, she also, Obadiah brought me some staples, some coop worth. And she taught me how to do something called spinning from the fold. So here's some gorgeous coop worth with all its beautiful crimp. And yeah, she taught me something called spinning from the fold, and I did it with this. I haven't been able to do it though since she left, so I'm gonna have to look up maybe a video on how to do that again. But I was doing it for a little while she was here, and that was really fun. And she also gave me some Lincoln. This one's from a farm in Maryland. Oh, these are so beautiful as well. So pretty. You know, you're not supposed to keep wool in plastic though. It's gotta breathe. So I will make sure I put this in brown paper bags, but this is how she gave it to me. So that was very generous, very kind. Let's see. I want to check my notes because I feel like we're up to like almost 50 minutes already. So we talked about that. Oh, acquisitions. I really quickly want to tell you a book that I just listened to on Audible called Goodbye Things. This was by Fumio Sasaki, a Japanese man. And I highly recommend this book. This book has caused me to rethink a lot of things about consumerism, about all of the stuff that we acquire here in America, all of the space that we think we need for all of our stuff. And it's kind of a sickness. It's kind of trying to fulfill some sort of hole. And I started by purging my clothes. I started with clothes because that's easy for me. I'm not really attached to that many clothes. Then I went on to my crafting books, which mainly knitting and crocheting and felting. That was really painful, but I was able to get rid of 50% of them. And then I went to my craft supplies, including yarn, but not my good wool. So yeah, I was able to get rid of at least 50% of that as well. And I mean, I'd like to do more. I'd like to get rid of 25% more of what I have left, but I'm not ready yet. But this was a big step for me. It felt amazing, and I'm donating everything. I'm looking at all of the things over in that corner. I'm not finished. I've only done, like I said, my craft loft, my closet. That's it. We did a little bit in the kitchen. Some of the pots and pans had to go. Joe did some. He's not on board completely yet, but he went through his like sweatshirts and t-shirts and got rid of a bunch. So I'm going to, once I finish the entire house, I'm going to go to the barn where I am now, but in the next room upstairs, because that is filled with all my bins that I do not obviously need very much. I hardly go to them. There were so many really life-changing moments in this book, but I don't want to ruin it for you. But I think the one that impacted me the most is when you die, when you leave this earth, do you want to leave your loved ones, you know, your family, husband, kids, whoever's left, with all your stuff? Like, do you want to leave them with that burden of having to get rid of all of your stuff? When, you know, that's not something, that's not easy to do. And what's going to happen to all that stuff when you're gone? I don't want to leave that burden. When I'm gone, I want people to say, okay, we can tell that she was passionate about yarn, and we can tell that, you know, these are the things that brought her joy, but there's not, you know, hundreds and hundreds of things everywhere coming out of every orifice. So yeah, it feels good to do that, to get rid of the noise, because it causes so much noise in your head. So many of those books in particular were reminders of books that I had never read, because I used to buy a lot of knitting novels thinking, oh, this summer, you know, when I'm not teaching, I'm going to read these 3. And that was like 10 years ago. And every time I'd look at them, it was just this pang of guilt. Like, I bought a book, I never read it, why am I not reading it, why don't I make just over and over. And that multiplied by all these things, just too much pressure. So, highly recommend the book. What else? There are some things in the shop. Getting very low. After the Boston show, I will restock, but yeah, there's not a ton. I was looking in the cabinet the other day, and there was, I don't know, maybe 30 skeins. So if you're interested, yeah, I would say get there now, and then I will be restocking. So Joe's birthday party was good. You know, he knew about it. So he was able to help me prepare, and it was a lot of work, but oh my goodness. His friends got here from Colorado and Pennsylvania and surprised the heck out of him. That was beautiful, just beautiful to see that. And they spent the whole weekend with us, and oh my gosh, we had such a good time. We had about, I don't know, 25 people here. Just good friends and family, and it was just so much fun, so much fun. We had barbecue. Yeah, it was great. Really good time, and Joe was like floating on air for days after. His friends that flew in surprised him with a really beautiful electric guitar. Like, what a great gift. So he's been practicing every day that I practice spinning. He practices guitar, so we have a pretty good system. But yeah, that's about it. That's the Squam. Squam was great. The art fair was great. Really fun. And I think I'm going to try to keep this short, under an hour. For me is short. So it was really nice talking to you again. I hope to catch up with you soon. So be well.